Your Excellency? What would you identify? You touched on it slightly with your first answer, but can I flush you out a bit more?
Thank you. If you look at, first of all, the natural resources that we have.
Yeah.
We have water. Then if you're coming down both water and land, we have oil, we have gas. One thing we'll quickly play to mind, if you have water or you are at the coastal line with a drought of 7.3, the first opportunity of that quick win is logistics. Today, if I'm not exaggerating, if you're actually importing through Lagos port, you should be able to spend at least 3 to 4 months and pay a lot of demurrages before you actually get your goods cleared.
Yes.
So with a drought of 7.3, there's a quick win there, very good return. When we did our numbers, the value that can be derived from a deep sea port in Akwa Ibom that can also serve as a transshipment port for the entire Gulf of Guinea is in the region of 89 billion US dollars. And it can only cost you less than $4 billion to develop the port with an industrial park. So for a quick win is a very great opportunity to have a deep sea port there that transship into the Gulf of Guinea. Then you come back, oil and gas. Today, power is a problem in Nigeria. We have enough gas in Akwa Ibom that can actually generate so much to take care of the generation problems in this country. So it's an area yet to be tapped. A lot of investment will need to go in that line. Until today, we are still flaring gas in our area that is affecting the health of the people. And there's a captive gas to power that can actually, though not in large capacity, even if it's 20, 30, those captive power system can actually also sustain industrialization. Then you come back even into agric. The state is so blessed in a way, I mentioned that all around the year we can plant, both cash crops and food crops. Today we are one of the largest producers of anything palm produce. The wild palms yield as much as you can actually think of, you know, actually manicured or well fertilized other palm trees that you plant in the area. So in agric, in oil and gas, these are quick wins. In our own area, even when we did the soil map, you just discover a lot of people in our area with good harvest today. So many of them have not seen fertilizer before. Yeah. So you can imagine when you now introduce a little bit of mechanization and a little bit of awareness of those additives, soil inputs, what kind of actually output will you get from that? What kind of harvest can you actually bring from the land? So a whole lot of opportunities, both from agric to oil and gas and then to logistics. Yes. And today, even in terms of infrastructure and hospitality, I think we can boast of one of the best road networks you can have, internal road networks in the whole country. So we're actually building, because we build on a concept of consumption is a function of availability. Build, they will come. As you build, people will come. And then we'll get a whole lot sorted out in terms of infrastructure. Yeah. And we believe with 5 trillion at hand, a whole lot of returns. Thank you.
Thank you. There seems to be a lot of competition on this stage for your pension fund money. Now we've got about 10 minutes left, so we've got time for a few more questions, but what comes out so far from your answers is that there are quite a lot of quick wins out of there, as well as all of you outlining what I would say is a clear long-term vision for each of your states, and that's quite encouraging. I'd like to move on to a couple of questions linked to the financial sector first, and then coming back to PEMCON and the pension industry after that. But maybe if I could begin with you, Your Excellency, in Kabi. Kabi, sorry. What support would you, if you were asked, really want from the financial services industry? What you touched on bankers before. Bankers are a pretty resilient lot. but they don't always do what their customers always want, it has to be said. But it's probably more than banking, but in terms of the financial industry, is it a case of actually improving financial literacy? Is it a case of actually improving the infrastructure in the financial sector? What is it that each of you, if you were given an ask and were able to speak to all the heads of the financial industry in front of you, what would you ask them for? What help would you need?
I think a composite understanding of the risk factors that we face, because most of us, or I do think that there are opportunities out there that orthodox approach to financial analysis will always miss out, because it's arbitrary, sometimes it's short-term, rather than appreciating that if we all expand capacity, then our ability to lower risk becomes bigger, better, and then we expand economic activity. And that's what we need. We need financial sector to appreciate that there are opportunities there that are long-term in nature, but the reward justifies the long-term investment. Okay. And those are the kind of things that we need in order to expand economic activity sustainably. Thank you.
Maybe let's take the question again. What would you like from the financial services industry to help you?
That's a buffet question, but I have to be very specific. First,
you have the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank on the front row as well here.
I cited him in the hall, and the stock exchange. First, long-term financing.
Long-term financing.
Because you can discuss logistics. I didn't mention that as of today, we get a little bit envious as a country.
Yeah.
So many aircrafts, we don't have maintenance hall anywhere. So as a state, we're actually building a maintenance, repair, and overhaul hangar, which is about 75% complete. So if you look at the nature of our investment or what opportunities exist, first of all, is that long-term financing. The short-term financing cannot work for us anywhere. That's number one. Number two, we need to quickly create the middle class, because you see, the purchasing power is a little bit weak. If there are over 6 million RSAs in the country, a lot of people wait to die in order for the family to draw on those RSAs. Why can't we just create medium, short-term borrowing backed up by those RSAs? It doesn't need to be 100% coverage. 50, 60% is good enough. And I'm sure if it's put to good use, I mean, definitely they should be able to pay before they get up to 100% coverage. So we need those quick wins. Thirdly, consultancy. A lot of financial institutions partner with so many, foreign direct investors all over the place. So if they can actually come up with that partnership and then believe in those people that they can actually collaborate in these areas, you could see that areas of guarantees, there's no way an investor will come in and ask for a state government if it's coming behind a financial institution. So the financial institution should actually be that intermediary, and they can actually provide those guarantees. Then probably the state government can now do a back-to-back guarantee to that. These are some of the quick areas in which the financial institutions can actually come in and then be able to actually help the state, and we can actually achieve a quick fix.
That's a good answer. Your Excellency in Kaduna.
Thank you. I agree with all the contributions of my colleagues, but I think in addition, we need to do something about interest rates. Interest rates in Nigeria are too high.
Yeah.
They are unrealistic. We will never develop with a 25% interest rate regime. And I think the only sector benefiting from this regime is the financial system. And I advise them in their own interest that unless they find an economic solution to bring down interest rates, in a matter of time, we politicians will enforce and force a political solution. No country can grow, no business can be viable if borrowing rates are 20–25%. And all the theory about rate of inflation and so on, I do not accept. We are living in a world of zero interest rates across the world, I really don't understand why borrowing rates in Nigeria are at 20%.